Thank you for joining me, Diana Master, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, at least 3 shacks destroyed after a fire broke out in Walvis Bay's Kiesipmund suburb. Attempted armed robbery suspects arrested at Style Store in Swakopmund. And ACC arrests LPM political leaders for alleged corruption. Stick around, we'll be right back with our midday news update. In today's midday news update, 3 suspects were arrested for an attempted armed robbery at Style Store in Swakopmund. According to Irongo Regional Inspector Eleni Shapumba, it is alleged that 3 men armed with gas pistols and machetes entered the store, closed the door after them, threatened 6 staff members including the manager, and demanded money. In the process, one of the employees acted quickly and notified the local police, who responded promptly and arrested all 3 suspects on the spot. Fortunately, no injuries were sustained and nothing was stolen. The used articles were recovered. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into today's visual news clips, about 3 shacks were destroyed after a fire broke out in Barber Street in Walvis Bay's Kiesipmund suburb. No fatalities or injuries were reported. Precious Oneuptwo reports.
About 3 shacks were destroyed after a fire broke out in Barber Street in Walvis Bay's Kiesipmund suburb. No fatalities or injuries were reported, with an estimated 4 victims affected by the fire. Firefighters from the Walvis Bay Fire Brigade responded swiftly and managed to contain the fire. The value of the damaged items is still unknown, and the police are yet to provide an official report.
Stick around, Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this short commercial break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting us off on the Namibian Sun front page, the Anti-Corruption Commission yesterday arrested several officials of the Landless People's Movement-led Harrisburg Town Council, including the mayor, on charges of corruption. The arrests have been confirmed by the ACC spokesperson Josephina Ngituamata, who said officials were nabbed as a result of an operation conducted by the agency. In a separate story on the paper's front page, the New Era Publication Corporation on Friday suspended its managing editor, Jonathan Beekes, after the newspaper published a series of articles questioning the transparency of the judiciary in appointing judges. Officially, Beekes has been accused of failing to advance the mandate of the organization, which includes reporting positively on government affairs. On the paper's page 3, the Namibian police confirmed yesterday that 9 people died on Sunday night at around 10:30 p.m. on the B1 road between Marienthal and Gibbon during a multiple vehicle crash, while 6 more died in a head-on collision in the Zambezi region. According to a police report, a white Iveco bus with 23 passengers on board moved into the left lane when the driver noticed a Scania truck approaching from the opposite direction, driving in their lane. The Iveco bus allegedly swerved to the side and subsequently veered off the road, overturning. 1 passenger in the Iveco bus died in the accident, the report read. The Scania truck then reportedly continued forward and collided head-on with the Ford Bantam, which had been driving behind the Iveco bus. The Bantam allegedly had 8 passengers on board, and upon collision, the vehicle caught fire. Moving right along, Republican reports that residents of Okahanja held a peaceful march to the Magistrates Court yesterday to oppose the bail application of a man accused of murdering a 16-year-old pregnant girl, Sierra Frederick, on September 9th. The accused, Epson Otto, aged 24, who was only arrested on Thursday, was denied bail yesterday, and his case was postponed until 23rd November. He will be transferred to the Windhoek Central Prison. The incident sent shockwaves through the town, and the residents demanded justice and a safer environment for all residents. Family and friends expressed their displeasure at the slow response of the Okahanja State Hospital in sending an ambulance, as well as the help of the police officers who were first on scene. They claimed the police said they could not help because they did not have a first aid kit. On the paper's page 3, a man who allegedly killed his girlfriend and the mother of his 2 children this past weekend is said to have told colleagues that he's upset that DNA results show he's not the father of the children. Lawrence Kapule 43, was shot dead by the police during his arrest, allegedly accused his girlfriend, Ivaleda Kalimbo, 31, of infidelity, and said the children's father is a politician in the Ohangwena region. Allegedly, Ndawoya also threatened to kill the politician. Now, a study of the amounts of water needed along and in the course of the Fish River south of the new Nekatau Dam to maintain a healthy ecology there and in the Orange River has been completed, reports the Allgemeine Zeitung. The results are to be announced in Keetmanshoop in the middle of the month. According to Allgemeine Zeitung's page 3, the total output of the arable sector decreased from 55,036 tons second quarter of 2022 to 21,953 tons in the same period this year. Whereas dates brought the most foreign dividends into the country, potatoes accounted for the largest import market. Stick around, we get into the second half of our newspaper review segment after the break, starting with what's leading on the Namibian newspaper's front page.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's continue right along with our newspaper review segment. The Namibian newspaper reports that Katutura Intermediate Hospital head Nelagwa Amagulu has blasted tender entrepreneurs for poor workmanship, which burdens medical staff and hampers their work. Amagulu yesterday expressed her frustration with some of the tender entrepreneurs who do not do their job according to hospital specifications. On page 3, the paper reports that 7 Windhoek sports gamblers were disappointed to learn that their winnings, which amounted to 51,200 Namibian dollars, were not paid out due to technical errors, the companies claimed. The 7 hopefuls placed their bets last Tuesday at Classic Sports Betting and Supreme Betting and were notified that they won a combined $51,200 Namibian. When the winners went to collect their earnings last Thursday, the betting companies claimed that there had been a technical error with all 7 bets and that there would be no payouts. The New Era reports that the Namibia-registered companies, which were run by Icelandic executives and are at the center of the fish rod bribery case, have come out guns blazing at the Prosecutor General Martha Imalwa as she tries to advance a case for asset seizure. Imalwa is asking the court to grant her the opportunity to file additional documents explaining the status of the extradition process of the Icelandic executives for their alleged illegal dealings in their personal capacities and on behalf of Essia Holding. On the paper's page 3, Trustco Group Holdings on Friday vowed to continue the fight against the Trustco Bank suspension by the central bank authorities after the Windhoek High Court ruled against the private family-owned business. Deciding on an urgent application, the court ruled that Trustco's loss of income due to its inability to collect debit orders from clients does not warrant for their case to jump the court's queue. Moving over to Market Watch, overall credit extended to businesses by local commercial banks in August contracted for the 5th consecutive month, posing a risk to already sluggish economic growth. According to the latest data released by the Bank of Namibia, domestic business-owned commercial banks nearly 45.32 billion Namibian dollars at the end of August, about 915.2 million Namibian dollars, or nearly 2% less than the same month in 2022. Compared to July this year, the figure dropped by 230.3 million Namibian dollars, or 0.5%. Retailers are scrambling to secure egg supplies as South Africa's worst ever bird flu outbreak wreaks havoc in the poultry sector. More on this as we get into economic news right after the break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In today's economic news, retailers are scrambling to secure egg supplies as South Africa's worst ever bird flu outbreak wreaks havoc in the poultry sector. With top producers such as Astral Foods warning of egg and meat shortages in coming months due to the H5 and H7 avian influenza strains, shoppers in Cape Town and Johannesburg have already noticed emptier shelves. I couldn't find any free-range eggs, forcing me to buy the battery chicken kind, a Cape Townian told News 24, adding, "To me, that's the equivalent of dripping chemicals into lab bunnies' eyes to formulate bitter shampoo." One Johannesburg-based shopper also told of not being able to locate their preferred brand of eggs at Checkers for about a week, a problem that has since recurred, while another also noticed empty egg shelves at a Woolworths store. Significant challenges. ShopRite, which owns Checkers and delivery service 6060, confirmed to News 24 on Friday that avian influenza is affecting the supply of both chicken and eggs. "We are working closely with suppliers, securing as much stock as possible and utilizing our supply chains to transport to regulars." Now let's take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.20 to the British pound, at 20.14 to the euro, 19.24 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 63 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Looking at selected NSX stock closing prices, MTC stocks took an upturn of 0.30%, while Namibia Breweries Limited stocks took a dip of 0.01%. Local index close took an upturn of 0.03%, while overall index close took a downturn of 0.61%. Looking at commodities, gold and platinum took an upturn of 0.07% and 0.47% respectively, while copper and Brent crude oil took dips of 1.58% and 0.44% respectively. Now, more than 1 million children and 31,000 teachers have been unable to return to their classrooms in Burkina Faso due to violence and insecurity. More details on how exactly this transpired coming up with news from Africa after this break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
You're still with NMH at 1. We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1. Starting us off, more than 1 million children and 31,000 teachers have been unable to return to their classrooms in Burkina Faso due to violence and insecurity as the West African nation starts another academic year on Monday, UNICEF said. About 6,100 schools, or at least 1 out of 4, was shut down on the first day of the school, UNICEF said. The junta that seized power in a military coup last year has struggled to improve security in the country. Indeed, data from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, a US-based crisis monitoring group, shows that violence nationwide has only increased since the coup. Having so many children still unable to return to school due to violence and insecurity, and so many schools closed is very upsetting, John Agbo, UNICEF representative in Burkina Faso, said in the statement. Burkina Faso has also been struggling to contain Islamist insurgents linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, who have killed thousands and displaced over 2 million people in the country, more than half of them being children. More than 3.8 million children in total are still due to return to school in Burkina Faso, including in areas affected by conflict, UNICEF said. Adding it was working with authorities and other partners to help facilitate access to education, including programs such as lessons by radio. The violence is part of a regional insurgency that has also plagued neighboring Mali and Niger, where conflict has interrupted children's education for years in one of the poorest corners of the world. Security forces in Madagascar fired tear gas on opposition candidates leading a protest in the capital Antananarivo on Monday amid rising political tensions ahead of presidential elections next month. 11 of the 13 presidential candidates in the running had called on supporters to march on the central May 13th square to protest what they have described as an institutional coup to favor incumbent Andry Rajoelina. But law enforcement officers moved to disperse the crowd of a few hundred people before it reached the planned destination. Former president and leading opposition figure Marc Ravalomanana, who was among the protesters, was led away to safety by his security detail. The rally was not given the green light by authorities, and hundreds of security forces patrolled the city center in the morning. Voters in Madagascar, one of the poorest countries in the world, despite vast natural resources, head to the polls to elect a president on November 9th. Rajoelina, 49, resigned last month in line with the constitution in order to run for re-election. The president of the Senate was supposed to take over but declined for personal reasons, leaving the task to a collegial government headed by Prime Minister Christian Tsai, an ally of Rajoelina. The move was accepted by the country's top court, sparking the anger of the opposition. Stick around after the break. We bring you international news, and we start with Pakistani police that busted an organ trafficking ring. Stay tuned.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss my .NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Starting off our international news this afternoon, Pakistan police busted an organ trafficking ring run by a disgraced doctor and a motor mechanic who conducted at least 328 illegal kidney transplants, authorities said. Fawad Mukhtar, a doctor already arrested 5 times for malpractice, used the unnamed mechanic as a surgical assistant and anesthetist on vulnerable patients lured from hospitals, according to a police probe. The Chief Minister of Punjab Province, Mohsin Naqvi, said transplants were conducted in private homes, at times without the patient's knowledge, with kidneys sold up to 10 million rupees or $35,000 each. The arrested 8-man gang was said to be operating across eastern Punjab province as well as in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, causing at least 3 fatalities. The facts and figures that have come to us make the heart tremble, Naqvi said during a press conference on Sunday night. There are a lot more transplants and illegal surgeries than this. These are the ones that we have confirmed. Now, Pakistan outlawed the commercial trade of human organs in 2010, imposing a decade-long jail term and steep fines in hopes of curbing sales to overseas clients by exploitative middlemen. More than 1,000 people in Bangladesh have died of dengue fever this year, the country's worst recorded outbreak of the mosquito-borne disease, which is increasing in frequency due to climate change. Dengue is a disease endemic to tropical areas and causes high fevers, headaches, nausea, vomiting, muscle pain, and in the most serious cases, bleeding that can lead to death. The World Health Organization has warned that dengue and other diseases caused by mosquito-borne viruses such as chikungunya, yellow fever, and Zika are spreading faster and further due to climate change. Figures from Bangladesh's Directorate General of Health Services, published on Sunday night, said 1,006 people had died among more than 200,000 confirmed cases. The agency's former director, Benazir Ahmed, said the number of deaths so far this year was higher than every previous year combined since 2000. It's a massive health event both in Bangladesh and in the world, he told AFP on Monday. The new figures dwarf the previous highest total from 2022, where 281 deaths were recorded for the full year. Among the dead are 112 children aged 15 and under, including infants. That brings us to the end of our international news. After the break, we bring you local and international sports news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
In local sports news this afternoon, the second weekend of the Namibia Football Association's Deb Marine Premier League produced a game of contrasting halves between reigning champions African Stars and Young African at the Hage Geingob Stadium in Windhoek on Saturday. Although Stars won the encounter by 2-0, it was only during the second half that the Samba boys properly arrived. The first 45 minutes of action could be described as sleepy, with the supporters getting restless on the packed stand. In some swimming news, the Namibia Aquatic Sports Federation hosted its annual National Short Course Swimming Championship from Thursday until yesterday at the Cube in Swakopmund. Already on the opening day, Rosalinda Machayi, 12, from Aqua Swimming and Fitness Club in Swakopmund, broke 2 Namibian records, the 100-meter butterfly and 50-meter backstroke. Machayi continued to make a statement as she broke 11 Namibian age records at the championship. In an interview, she said, "I'm happy with my performance. I've been really putting in the hard work and spending a lot of hours in the water. So yes, I am happy with the numbers and records." We'll now take a quick ad break and return with international sports.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and
Heading straight into international sports news, American gymnast Simone Biles became the first woman to do the Yurchenko double pike at the World Artistic Gymnastics Championships on Sunday, with the vault now to be named after her. The Yurchenko double pike is the most difficult jump in the women's scoring code and was rated at 6.4 points by the technical committee in anticipation of it being performed. The 26-year-old athlete scored 15.266 with a 58.865 total in the all-round, securing the vault to be named Biles II after a different original jump was named after her in 2018. With 25 world medals, the most of any gymnast in history, and 7 Olympic medals, the oldest American woman to compete at the Worlds now has 5 skills named after her, 2 on the floor exercises, 2 on vault, and 1 on the balance beam. The U.S. women's team finished their qualifying subdivision at the top of the table and will go for team gold on Wednesday in Antwerp. South Korean roller skater Jong Chol-won was left red-faced at the Asian Games on Monday when an early celebration cost his team a gold medal in the 3,000-meter relay race. The 27-year-old eased up and raised his arms as he approached the finish, only to be pipped by Taiwan's Hwang Yu-lin on the line. Taiwan won gold by 0.01 seconds. "I made a rather big mistake," said Jong. "I didn't come at full speed to the finish line. I let my guard down too early and I'm very sorry." It was redemption for Hwang, though, who left the venue in tears on Sunday after being disqualified in the men's 1,000-meter sprint. Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey will be included in the squad to play at Lens in the Champions League on Tuesday after being sidelined for the past 6 matches, manager Mikel Arteta said. The 30-year-old Ghana international has not played since suffering a groin injury in training in early September. He's been progressing really well in the last 2 weeks, and he managed to train the last 2 or 3 days with the team. "That's great news for us, obviously," Arteta said on the team's official website on Monday. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and stick around because we'll be right back with the highlights from today's broadcast.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
You're watching NMH at 1. If you're just joining us, here are the news highlights. More than 1 million children and 31,000 teachers have been unable to return to their classrooms in Burkina Faso due to violence and insecurity as the West African nation starts another academic year on Monday, UNICEF said. Pakistan police busted an organ trafficking ring run by a disgraced doctor and a motor mechanic who conducted at least 328 illegal transplants, authorities said. American gymnast Simone Biles became the first woman to do the Yurchenko double pike at the World Artistic Gymnastics Championships on Sunday, with the vault now to be named after her. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From all of us here in studio, we do wish you a lovely Tuesday ahead.